With us now is the lovely Karen Garvey, and Karen is an author, but she's also an intuitive, what would you say, healer or advisor? What do you call yourself?
I actually use the term intuitive and life coach, professional and personal coach.
Okay, and as such, you had a regular day job once upon a time. What was that?
Yeah, my path is a little unusual for someone who's doing intuitive work. I have an MBA, and I worked in business for a lot of years, and I was, relatively happy in my career, but it wasn't the je ne sais quoi. When the 1990s came around, I was working as an independent business consultant. So I was working in my home, and one thing I would do is I would go out for a run in the morning before I started. And on the morning of 9/11, I was out for a run, and I came back to my home a couple of minutes before 9. And as I was standing in the driveway, I experienced the attack on the World Trade Center in my mind's eye, in my feelings. Within a minute or so, I saw on the television what was happening at the time when they were making suppositions about a small plane getting off target. But I knew that I had experienced something that I didn't have any earthly means to experience. I was nowhere near the event. So it changed my life, but it took a long time after that one event to start to figure out how to make value of intuition, not just to be able to have random happenings or random knowledge, but to really figure out how to use it all the time, which is what I do now.
Because, at first, growing up too, when I was around 12, interesting things have happened to me all the time. I used to think I was having constant deja vu. And I was like, oh, that's deja vu, that's deja vu. I'm like, sooner or later, I figured out, I'm like, well, it's kind of like deja vu, but it's a little something different. But I don't have the skill or the knowledge or the power that you do and how you're able to help others. So how did it go from a personal journey for you in terms of your intuitiveness to being able to reach out and kind of read others and help them on their path?
Because of my background, and I pretty much spent my life valuing my intellect more than I valued anything else. So to come out of the closet with this and have the risk of thinking that people would find me crazy or think I was crazy, I made sure that I stayed behind closed doors for a really long time until I really understood how to connect with non-physical sources of information. So I tried to use as much of a scientific process as I could, where I would learn how to connect and, if I can say, hear voices, but connect with conscious energy that was able to give me information that I wasn't attaining on Earth. And I would ask questions, and then I would research the answer that I was given to make sure that it was good. I would ask questions that I didn't know the answer to, and I would just practice and practice and practice until I had about 2,000 pieces of evidence that what I was receiving through that channel was accurate. And it was only then that I decided that maybe I can do this for other people. More important than the accuracy of the information, though, is the intention. It's the emotion, it's the sensations, it's about getting information that can help people to be more happy. That's the key. It's not so much, your Aunt Ethel wore a blue brooch and it's underneath your bed, just go find it. So that's cool. We're all eternal, right. We got that. But the more interesting part of it is when you find out that there are certain things that you're doing in your life that may be preventing you from finding your soul's intent. You're tripping yourself up by behaving as a human and forgetting that you had this soul that came into the journey. So intuition is about stripping away all the masks and layers and misbeliefs that you picked up along the way so that you can be clear and you can find your passion, you can live it up. And then feel the energy that you feel when you're doing this, the energy that I feel when I'm doing here, which is the pathway to happiness. So what I do for people is I listen to what their questions are. I call a lot of what I do the answers, because when you are curious and you're forming a question, that's when you're able to receive an answer or have an aha moment or to know something new. But when you're not asking questions and you don't have curiosity, that means for some reason, however you've formed this identity that you're living with, you're content with it in the moment. You're not ready for a new discovery or a new awakening. So people ask questions, and then my intuitive ability helps to open up really profound answers for them. And I also guide them to learn how to connect with their own intuition on whatever level they're capable of. Everyone is capable.
Absolutely.
everyone.
Which is so amazing. And they say that we use such a little portion of our brain anyway. So, I mean, we have this massive brain, and like being able to open up some of the other channels, I think is absolutely fascinating.
Right.
Scientifically fascinating, as well as like socially fascinating.
Yes.
Now, if somebody needs to still stay dormant, maybe they're not ready for that big
true.
aha moment. Do you counsel them about that too and say, you know what, I see something you may want to try, or you might be interested in trying. Perhaps you might want to clean this up first. Like, do you kind of counsel them when you say life coach? Do you life coach them that way?
Well, it's more a matter of if I'm doing a session with someone and they're not asking any questions, then I'm guided about the conversation. And I'm only guided to certain conversations if they're ready to have that. So I don't think I've ever experienced a session with a client or with a coaching client where information that was given to them was too evolved for where they were in the moment. As soon as you connect and you're there, you become active in the role and in the process. You know, call it seeking or letting go of baggage, but if you're there and you're sitting there, that means you're ready. So luckily, intuition guides me, you know. But it also helps to, if someone has enough curiosity to be sitting with me or coming to a seminar, that means they already have suspended doubt to some level. Even if they feel like they're still believing that this is not possible, if they're there in the audience, that means that they're hopeful, that they have the belief or they have a sense that something happened in their journey that makes them believe that we are eternal and there's more to this life than just what we're receiving through our physical senses. So as long as they're in front of me, then we have an opening, we have a window. And once you learn to suspend doubt, then the sky is the limit. Every person is intuitive. You might not be able to hear and see and feel the things that I hear and feel and see, but you may find your messages in a dream. Signs are in the universe all the time. It might come on a license plate, a vanity plate. It can come on a sign. It can come by opening up a book and the next passage you read, he is not awake as he continues his journey, finding a passage that's relevant. And also, listening to your dreams, listening to good ideas that pop in your head. This is something that people don't pay that much attention to. But when you're coming up with a good idea that makes you feel excited and you're elevated above that line of neutral, then you're sharing conscious energy with some source that's lovingly trying to guide you. And they got through. You have to download that message and hold on to it and try to act upon it. But it is available to everyone. And it's good to know that life does get easier when you attune to it.
Absolutely. Staying present, staying focused, being open to receiving, and it works.
Yes.
So we've been sitting here visiting with Karen Garvey. I love Karen Garvey. I think you'll really enjoy her too. And you can simply Google her at Karen Garvey. You can check her out at liveituptvshow.com. She's written several books, two of them which she has here. And years ago, somebody actually gave me the answers as a gift way before I even knew Karen, and I just think she's phenomenal. So thank you so much. You've got the answers. Your second book is about money. What is that one called?
Money Wisdom.
Money Wisdom, and Begin Here. So thank you so much for joining us.
It was wonderful. It's so good to be here.
Thank you, and stay tuned for more from Live It Up.